Okay, base guy here. What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm bringing you the Vizio Elevate 5.1.4 soundbar. Though this is new from Vizio and it's taken kind of the industry by storm. This is a really cool soundbar, very much different than what you're used to in your traditional soundbar. So I purchased this today from Best Buy. They had a few sitting out on the sales floor, so I decided to grab one and do a review. Now we all know Vizio is probably, if not already known, as the #1 soundbar brand out there, and for a good reason. And now they brought this Elevate to the table. Now I bought this one for I think just under $1,000, 900 some odd dollars. So we're gonna put this together and see if you get all of that money back in the sound quality and some of the experience. So let's crack the box open really quickly and see what's inside. All right, so I guess the best way to approach it is kind of already open on this side. So we'll kind of finish what they started. I tell you what, soundbar boxes are some of the hardest boxes to get open, but we got it open. Lots of stuff to go through. Let's start off with what's in the accessory box. Let's pop this open, cut that tape off on the bottom. All right, inside the accessories box, we have a lot of things in here. Starting from the top, looks like we have an RCH, a 3.5mm input. Looks like we have another 3.5 to 3.5mm input there. Your HDMI cord, of course, that's going to be 2.1 to be able to send back that Dolby Atmos signal and get it in from a TV that's compatible with it, as well as EARC. We have two power cords here. One's probably going to be for the subwoofer, the other one's going to be for the soundbar itself. And then we have our traditional connections. Now these are going to be used to pair up the satellite speakers. They are wireless in a sense. While the subwoofer is wireless, you'll plug these to the subwoofer and then they'll go from subwoofer to the satellite speakers wherever you like to place those. Looks here, we have some mounting brackets. Looks like this goes to the soundbar itself, so you can mount the soundbar where you like to. So you do have some accessories for that. We have an optical cable, as well as the owner's manual quick start guide, and then Vizio's remote here. Looks to be pretty similar to all the other soundbar remotes. Has a little screen at the top that is used to help you kind of navigate through the menus. So that's pretty nice to see. Nicely laid out, kind of that same Vizio fashion. Looks really good. Let's slide this off to the side and let's take a look at the soundbar itself. Now check this out. There's the sound bar, the two satellites, and the subwoofer that you get with the soundbar. And this screams premium. It screams quality. Just unboxing the soundbar, getting the subwoofer unwrapped and unraveling the satellites, it feels solid. And that's what you expect. When you're spending this kind of money on a soundbar, you expect it to be built well, and it definitely is. Now this soundbar has a lot of cool, unique features that separates it from a lot of other soundbars, including these Atmos speakers on the far left and the far right. Now these actually are motorized, they rotate. So when the soundbar detects a signal, a Dolby Atmos signal, it'll fire these up towards the ceiling, and it uses that bouncy effect, or it takes the sound and fires it towards the ceiling and it reflects back down to your listening position to give you that overhead Atmos bubble atmosphere kind of effect. So it's really cool to see. No other soundbar, as far as I know, does that. When you get a signal that's from Dolby Atmos, it'll turn on, it'll enable the Dolby Atmos speakers, and they will shoot up, they will rotate up. That is a super cool feature that Vizio did to kind of add a little quirkiness to it. So that's the soundbar itself. The subwoofer here is massive, has a really big driver underneath it with really thick surrounds. We'll take a look at that. And then you have two satellites that go in the rears. Now this is a 5.1.4. So there are 4 Dolby Atmos speakers. So there's 2 in the soundbar for the front stage, and built into the top of those Vizio satellites are 2 drivers that also point upwards towards the ceiling to give you a rear image from the Atmos section. Really cool, really nice. And on the bottom of the satellites, there's a rubber pad to keep it kind of firm in place. If you're not mounting these speakers, you put them on like a bookshelf or a stand or a bedside table, whatever it is, you'll have them planted pretty firmly with the rubber pad underneath it. So really good product quality. I really like the way it feels sturdy, very heavy, and that's super reassuring. Let's flip around the soundbar so you guys can take a look at the back. Flipping it on its back, there isn't actually a lot going on here, not a lot of branding or any logos like that. It's pretty minimalistic, but this is where all your connections are going to be made. On the right side of the soundbar, that's where all the connections will be made for the audio. So you have CEC, you have ARC, eARC is also available on the soundbar. All your HDMIs are connected here on the soundbar. There's like a USB port, optical cable, all on that side. And then on the left side of the soundbar, you have voice assistant here. You can connect this with an app, the smart app that Vizio has for setup and have voice recognition and be able to communicate with the soundbar with your voice. The power plug gets plugged in here, and a couple of those RCA to 3.5 millimeter jacks also go there too. And then you can see there's about 4 different rubber pads, so this will stay firmly in place. If you're putting it on like an entertainment stand or something like that, it'll stay still. Even at high volumes, the vibration won't rattle it off anything. It's really nice to see. It's hard plastic on the back, but it does feel really solid, really sturdy. So Vizio did a really good job with this. Let's take a look at the satellites here. Satellites look really good too, made of the same material as the soundbar. You can see that they have the RCA connections that you'll make. So you'll plug them into your satellites, which go to the subwoofer. The subwoofer gets all of the signal from the soundbar. So these are wireless. These aren't wireless. They plug into the subwoofer, but the subwoofer itself is wireless. So you can put that wherever you like to. There's a little hole there on the back side of it, so you can mount these if you like to, or with the supplied rubber feet at the bottom, you can put them on whatever you want to put them on. Here's a better look at the drivers. You do have that main driver for the surrounds, and then on the top is that Dolby Atmos. The 0.3 and 0.4 section of the Dolby Atmos comes from there. So super good quality build. Let's flip over the subwoofer so you guys can take a look at that. All right, so this subwoofer is an absolute beast. This is probably Vizio's biggest sub they've ever paired with a soundbar. This is on a level with some of those JBL soundbars you see. Nakamichi probably has a subwoofer a little bit bigger than this, but this is a really big subwoofer, really heavy, really sturdy. It's gonna give you some pretty good bass, to be honest with you. If I flip it on the back, here's where you can see some of those connections that get connected to the satellites. You have your AC in, so that's your power cord. Then you have your surround left and surround right, as well as an on-off button. Now, like I said, this is wireless, so it communicates with the soundbar without being tethered to it. It also sends the signal to your left and your right surround sound speakers, and it automatically pairs with your soundbar once you plug everything in. Now, underneath is where it gets interesting. Take a look at this driver you get on a soundbar subwoofer. It looks to be a 6-inch subwoofer, probably something around there, maybe even an 8-inch. But the surrounds on this thing is thick. This is car audio level surrounds on here. You don't see that on a soundbar subwoofer very often. So I'm interested to see what kind of output and what kind of bass we can get out of this. We'll find out here in this video. Then of course, it is a ported subwoofer, so you do have a port on the back. Here is a closer look at that remote. Again, similar to what you see on all of the Vizio soundbars, but finally, Vizio has made this screen legible in the dark. Usually you can't see this unless there's some kind of ambient light, but now this is a powered light, so you can actually see it in the dark when you're using it, thankfully. It's not that bright, which is good. You don't want to distract people in the dark, but finally it has some type of backlighting, so you can see what you're doing in the back. Otherwise, it's what we expect. Input, Bluetooth power, your cursor wheel, the OK button, equalizer, your levels for like surrounds and for your subwoofer, setup, effects, volume up and down, and the mute button. Very nice. All right, guys, so I have the soundbar hooked up. Everything is good to go. Subwoofer paired immediately. Satellites are placed. The soundbar is fired up. Now, on this soundbar, usually you have the LED status lights that tell you what you're doing on the soundbar. you still have those on this soundbar, just like in same Vizio fashion. On the far left side, anytime you make a change, an input, or change the volume up and down, change the levels, EQ, it shows you that in the status LED light bar on the left side. So same as what you may be used to if you have owned any Vizio products in the past. I also found on the side of the soundbar, you do have a few buttons just in case you're nearer to the soundbar than you are the remote. You have the power button, source button, Bluetooth, and then volume up and down on the physical soundbar itself. So you're able to make changes and make volume adjustments there. So what we're gonna do now, I went ahead and listened to it without you guys to get a good idea. You're gonna be impressed, hopefully, if what you get a chance to hear based off a YouTube video, but I am thoroughly impressed so far. I'm gonna play you just a normal YouTube video on screen so that you guys can hear voices. Then I'll play a little quick movie demo, and then I'll show you the subwoofer with some music. The bass is ridiculous. So let me show you just a quick YouTube snippet so you guys can hear how good the audio quality really is.
HDMI ARC.
A handful of disturbing movies on my channel, but I'm still very much a rookie in terms of my viewing history. And apparently, it's worse than I thought. This has been sent to me multiple times. A disturbing movie iceberg. The lower you go, the more disturbing the movie. I think if you look at the titles, it illustrates it quite well. For example, at the top, you have
Still checking in the place, still cold. Moving in the way, no place, no snow. Straight chilling with my niggas that shiver. Thinking about South Lake, Southern River. Yes, bitch, nigga. I come back with 11 damn shots.
Well, there you have it, guys. That's the Vizio Elevate 5.1.4 soundbar. I hope you guys got a good representation through YouTube how well this thing performs. For $900 or more, you expect a lot from a soundbar, and you get a lot of that. Sounds very good. The vocals come through. This is probably one of the best soundbars that I've heard as far as sound quality goes. Sounds incredible. Easy to control, easy to set up. Everything works perfectly right out of the box as intended. The subwoofer is super loud for an 8-inch, so it'll fill a small to medium sized room with minimal issues. Higher volumes, you may see a little bit of strain, but it's a soundbar at the end of the day. You can't expect too much from it, but it does perform very well. I'm impressed with the Dolby Atmos section as well. I'm in a small bedroom. It has 8-foot ceilings, maybe like a 12 by 12. It's pretty square. And it does very, very well in this room. Easy to hear the dialogue, easy to hear the Atmos effects. The surround satellite speakers work perfectly. Everything is just really nice, and it performs very well. So hats off to Vizio. They, again, knock it out of the park with this soundbar. One of the best soundbars that you can buy right now. Build quality is there, feels sturdy, looks like it'll last a long time, feels like it'll last a long time. And of course, has the Vizio name, so you know that you're getting a good soundbar at the end of the day. So I'm gonna leave a link in the description down below to Vizio, the website themselves. You can find this at Best Buy. You can probably find it on Amazon, all your major retailers. You can probably find it on Crutchfield, wherever you wanna go, you can find it. But I'm gonna leave a link to Vizio themselves so you can really see a little more detail on this soundbar if you are interested in it. Guys, leave me a comment down below and let me know, have you heard of a soundbar at this price point? Have you heard one, $800, $900? Have you heard one before? What did you think about it? Was it worth the money? Let me know that down below in the comment section, and hit that like and subscribe button if you have not already. We will see you guys in the next video. K-Bass Guy out. Peace.